What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy, and welcome to another video on the channel. Today, guys, we have a Melody of Memory developer interview for you today via Famitsu. Now, today's interview coverage is going to be a little bit different from my previous ones. You probably wouldn't notice it aside from me telling you, but I just feel a need to let you guys know that there is a fuller version of this interview with like way more questions that you can read in the description below via KH Insider. The reason I won't be covering every single question from this interview is because a lot of this interview is kind of regurgitated info that I covered like a couple of weeks ago during the boom of interviews for Melody of Memory. However, there is a lot, and I mean a lot of new stuff as well. More context to certain questions, straight up new questions, and some perspective from developers towards people who are a little bit more skeptical on buying this game. So today I'm going to be covering about 15-16 questions. The full interview is like double that. So once again, for those of you that want to read the entire thing, if you haven't watched my previous videos covering Melody of Memory interviews, then feel free to read the rest, the full Famitsu interview in the description below. But I'm going to mostly be covering today the big questions, the new questions that I find interesting. But let's get right into it. Azama and Suzu, with you having worked on the Theatrhythm Final Fantasy and Theatrhythm Dragon Quest rhythm action games, we're sure the concept of a Theatrhythm Kingdom Hearts had crossed your mind. Did you go with the Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories title because the content felt more suited to the mainline Kingdom Hearts series? Actually, when we put together the proposal doc about 5 years ago, the working title for the project was Theatrhythm Kingdom Hearts. So the concept has been in works for a while. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I just thought it would be cool if we could make one for Kingdom Hearts, but Tetsuya Nomura proposed something more Kingdom Heartsy. What does Kingdom Heartsy mean in specific terms? It means instead of a new installment in the Theatrhythm series, we do a title with Kingdom Hearts series visuals and story. Plus, to give some more specific details, the in-game sound effects are one example. The Kingdom Hearts series sound team made them for us. The character animations and models were also created using assets from Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix, although in the end, the Kingdom Hearts team made us brand new animations. Even the effects were approved by the OG creators. The in-game times were decided by Tetsuya Nomura. With so much collaboration from the original team members, this game is Kingdom Heartsy in all the most important ways. The cursor sound effects are another example. I know you'll hear them and immediately get into that Kingdom Hearts mood. All this to say, a staggering amount of people were involved in this game. By the way, Theatrhythm features cute chibi characters. Will this title feature Kingdom Hearts chibis too? Not in the actual game, but the load screens do feature some chibi shenanigans, kind of like as mascots. Although, you know what? Even just that meant we needed to rig the models with bones and create animations. It's kind of insane how many people it sounds like were involved in a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. They truly did kind of bring everyone in for this game. Although it was developed by a new team, they had a lot of the work done by the Kingdom Hearts team, mostly regarding graphics, animations, and so on. I do like that this isn't just a Kingdom Hearts Theatrhythm, as much as I would have loved to see chibi avatars of our beloved Kingdom Hearts characters, and we probably would have had more characters if that was the case as well. It adds a certain Kingdom Hearts feel like they were going for to have it be in our normal art style, or well, I don't know what normal, our previous normal art style before Unreal Engine. And it seems like that was a decision mostly made by Tetsuya Nomura, which isn't too surprising because Nomura always tries to make his games stand out as much as possible, whether it's Kingdom Hearts or something else he's working on. I'm sure for him, he didn't want Kingdom Hearts to be just Theatrhythm Kingdom Hearts. He wanted it to be another entry in the Kingdom Hearts series. But anyways, moving along, the next few questions are going to be asking about the story for Melody of Memory. I'll be asking about the content of the game soon, but first I want to know about this title's story. The box art has already been revealed. The composition seems to imply that Kairi will be the protagonist and the game will be from her perspective. Is that right? That's right, the story is about Kairi as narrator reflecting on the past, which is why I drew that picture. Sora appears in 3 of the framed pictures. Those are the final scenes of Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 from Kairi's point of view. This story is about reflecting on the past, but we have seen a couple of new scenes. Yes, but there are only a few. The plot of Kingdom Hearts 3 was finished with Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, so the amount of sequel-style content is limited. In the earliest plans, the narrator was going to be Kirithy, not Kairi, but as I wrote the plot, I began to feel that Kairi made a much more fitting narrator, which also meant I had to add a bit of plot. In the beginning, we also weren't planning to use outright cutscenes for the flashback scenes, but I suddenly made up my mind that we should. Everyone else was like, what though? We didn't have anyone on the team who could make Kingdom Hearts cutscenes, so when Nomura was like, let's make new cutscenes, we were stuck, like, okay, but we don't have anyone who can. What do we do? But Nomura called on the Kingdom Hearts team, and the OG staff made them for us. Not only did our worries evaporate, it also made it a better game, so we are very thankful. This game doesn't have a secret movie or anything like that. The main story is all there is. As to the content, I'd like you to play it and see for yourself. Okay, so this game won't be having a secret movie. Now, there's a lot of specifics to that we could go deeper into, because I'm sure there's probably a ending to this game that might be considered a secret movie ending sort of thing, but it's likely not something that's unlockable to be considered a secret movie. Likely a epilogue, I'd imagine. He also says that there's only a few cutscenes, but based off of last interviews, we can kind of infer that it's going to be a very minimal amount of new cutscenes. But apparently there's enough cutscenes to consider Kairi the protagonist of this game, which is a little bizarre, because I can hardly call this a Kairi protagonist game if she's just the narrator. However, she's probably more of a protagonist from a story perspective rather than a gameplay one, so I'm probably just taking it a little bit too literal. But that brings us to what I was saying before about how much story there might be exactly if he's considering Kairi to even be the protagonist. A lot of people wanted a Kairi game after Kingdom Hearts 3, and this seems like it's going to be our Kairi game. Not quite what people were expecting, but something for Kairi nonetheless. One easy way to tell the difference between this and the Theatrhythm series is that this game isn't a side-scroller. It has 3D graphics that move forward into the screen. How much trial and error did it take before you settled on this point of view? When we first talked to Nomura about making a Kingdom Hearts rhythm action game, he told us that he preferred we find a way to enjoy rhythm action with Kingdom Heartsy 3D visuals. Right around that time, we got a request to try making rhythm action style memorial music box individuals for the Kingdom Hearts series 15th anniversary site. From there, it led to the current gameplay where Sora, Donald, and Goofy run and destroying enemies to the rhythm via Kingdom Hearts controls. What did Shimomura say about this game? Apparently, she really enjoys playing the Theatrhythm series, and she has asked us many times over the years if we could make a Kingdom Hearts one. I'm sure she is looking forward to this game, and I think we have made something that will satisfy her. Once I met Shimomura at a cherry blossom viewing picnic, and she gave me the full set of Kingdom Hearts series CDs. She gave me this "you know what to do now, right?" smile. So I am sure she's been hoping for us to make a Kingdom Hearts series rhythm game for a long time. That's really funny that Shimomura was like begging for a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. That's really cool. I think that her music is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think anyone has a bad thing to say about it. And just based off of like the Kingdom Hearts series reputation when it comes to its music because of her, I think Kingdom Hearts is very deserved to have a rhythm game. Although the timing of this rhythm game may be extremely weird, it's deserved nonetheless, and it's honestly like just good to have one at all. For me, Kingdom Hearts music is good enough for me to like buy an entire game based off of it. This game is also releasing on the same day in Japan at least as the soundtrack for Kingdom Hearts 3, which also includes key back cover, Remind music, and other 2.8 music. So this is something that is likely there to advertise the soundtrack a lot. And now I might have to break my back in terms of money to get both the soundtrack and Melody of Memory. That's gonna be fun. Thank you, Nomura. Anyways, though, let's move along. We'll have 2 more sections to go based off of the questions I picked to cover. Now, please give us a simple rundown of this game's gameplay. In the basic normal style, you use 3 buttons to attack. When there is 1 target, any button will do. When there are 2 targets, you need to press 2 buttons at the same time. and when there are 3, you need to press 3 at the same time. If you hold the jump button, you can also glide through the air. The controls for this game are very close to the rest of the Kingdom Hearts series, and the PlayStation circle button is attack, X button is jump, and triangle is for abilities, so it is exactly the same. And reverse that for English fans, of course. It sounds like these controls will be very easy for Kingdom Hearts series fans to adapt to. We also put a lot of effort into the tutorial, so we don't think people will have issues with the controls. The stages are taken on in parties. Can you select your own party members? There are 4 parties, and each of them have fixed members. You cannot freely select party members, but there are guest party members who are specific to certain worlds, and a Disney character will replace either of the 2 characters who aren't the leader, or have King Mickey join as a 4th party member to save you. King Mickey saves you, you can use healing items, and you can level up to increase your HP. We designed it so that even people without much experience with rhythm games will be able to clear the stages with enough repetition. That's really awesome. They basically add the don't give up mechanic from Kingdom Hearts 2 into Melody of Memory. Wow, so this really is like a very authentically made Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. I like that so much, dude. That is so cool. I also love how they went out of their way as well to make sure the controls for this game kind of match Kingdom Hearts, because from the way they're making it sounds like it's going to feel like Kingdom Hearts when you're on that track, which is going to be really cool. So that means that like when we play the game, we should feel right at home playing it for the most part. Only difference is we're going to have to press the buttons to the beat this time rather than just jumping and mashing X. I think that's really good for Kingdom Hearts fans. So this is a game not just made for rhythm game connoisseurs, but also fans who grew up with the series. But it does cater to new players as well, since this is a flashback game, sorta kinda. But moving on though, this is going to be the last selection of questions that I'm going to be doing. So as a whole, how does the game progress? The plot advances as you complete missions called world trips. On top of clearing the tracks for each world, you must fulfill conditions to get stars. Once you have gathered a set number of stars, a gate opens, allowing you to progress to the next world. How many worlds are there? There are 47 worlds. Among them are 16 Kingdom Hearts original worlds and 31 Disney worlds. Other than that, there are also 33 dark holes, which are areas which only contain boss tracks. That's a lot of worlds. Yeah, it takes about 10 hours to just go through the world trips and reach the ending, which I think is a volume that's easy to enjoy. Then of course you can replay the tracks you unlock to get high scores, battle your friends online or the AI, or enjoy co-op with your friends on the same screen. There's enough content to keep you satisfied for a long time. I add that extra long. Then finally, your comment please, Nomura. This game was a lurking ambush of a Kingdom Hearts title. With everything going on in the world, it was difficult to know when it could be released, but I'm relieved that it seems it will release without issue. This game is sort of like a highlight reel of the Kingdom Hearts series so far, so the series fans can reminisce over this condensed version of the series, and people who know of Kingdom Hearts but are daunted by the number of games in the series can treat this as a super easy entry point. If you play this game and find parts you want to know more about, I really hope you go and play the past titles. And I hope as you enjoy it, your mind starts spinning about the series developments coming up. Hopefully the people reading this who are a little bit more skeptical about getting Melody of Memory, whether it's worth it to them or not, maybe you're reading this and them telling you like exactly what this game is going to be about, how it's going to play, what it's going to offer, how much content it's going to have, maybe that'll let you decide whether you want to buy it or not. The biggest takeaway from this interview for me is I really like how authentically this Kingdom Hearts rhythm game is being made. It seemed like they put a lot of effort into making sure it was Kingdom Heartsy, as they used a lot in this interview, and considering this was made by a new team with a lot of help from the old team as well, and of course Nomura directing it, it's nice that this game is likely going to still feel like a Kingdom Hearts game. At least I hope. I mean, we can leave the final decision for the demo that might release within the next week or so. But that's going to be all from me today though, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.